Hola. Well, so this is going to be our vlog for day 2 on the Camino. Like we said in the last video, we ended up staying in Pasajes de San Juan, outside the albergue there, but basically the point we were sleeping on was on the hillside coming down to a bay, which is a port for a harbour. And we were beside what we later found out was this enormous traffic light. Because the bay was so narrow, only one boat could pass through at a time. So they installed this huge red light at the top of the mountainside, and we were sleeping under it. So about 2 hours after we settled down, I woke up and the whole world had turned red because this light was so enormous and so bright. So it took me a bit of time to figure it out, but we got there. But then also when we woke up in the morning, it was pretty windy. But imagine the strongest wind you've ever experienced, and imagine the hottest hairdryer you've ever experienced, and combine them both. And that is basically what we woke up to. It was absolutely outrageous,
strong wind,
40 odd degree wind. Really, really strange.
Sleeping bag, and I've been everything blowing to one side. Anyway, so that's what we woke up to, and I got up and I was like, wow, it'd be amazing to see a ship come into the harbour right now. And then literally on cue, this huge ship comes into the harbour. It was like a
massive car transporter,
but huge, and it must have been at least kind of 50% of the width of the harbour. And it comes through really silently, so we kind of watched this huge ship come through in the morning, and we packed up and went down the steps down towards the harbour. And there was this little passenger ferry that you have to take across the way, so we had to wait until about 6:30 in the morning. That was the first one, so it was just us and another pilgrim.
Yep. And then from there we walked up the mountainside and followed this really beautiful coastal walk, this route around down into San Sebastian, where we stopped very briefly to have some breakfast. And then
con tomatas.
Correct. And then we, because we're not so pushed about walking through the cities and we don't have much time to do the first couple of sections, we jump on a bus to get us from that side of San Sebastian to the other.
Just up into the hillside where the Camino was carrying on.
When we got to the outside San Sebastian, we started walking up the hill there then, and we started catching up with other pilgrims then.
Yeah, we were making good pace.
So we got to a place called Oreo and stopped for lunch, and we sat in this town square. But we
with
kept
a covering, with the kind of shady covering, so we plumped our bums there, but we kept it getting moved because there was this, the cleaners, they kind of had big hoses, they were
power washing the square.
But the most hilarious thing was we've discovered there's 2 things that policemen do in Spain, and one of them is supervise the washing of...
2 things that we've seen policemen do so far in Spain has been supervise the power washing of a square and move pilgrims out of the way. And the other one was help small children with a treasure hunt. That's basically the 2 roles we've seen the police
that's the only 2 obviously.
So far. So I'm assuming they do more, but it's a pretty good sign of the crime rate if the police are able to be occupied in those pursuits.
Anyway.
But then from that town there, we made our 3rd mistake of the Camino, which was to start walking from Oreo to Zarautz at 1 p.m. in the hottest sun of the day. Because the whole morning we'd walk through forest paths, and it'd been quite secluded and stuff, and pretty well sheltered and shady. So
even though it was still kind of 41 degrees, it's really, really hot still.
It was still super hot, but we were in the shade. But then the walk from Oreo to Zarautz was completely exposed, not one bit of shade the whole way, and it was all uphill. So we got to the top of the hill anyway after much struggle, and there was a tap there, and I pretty much just sat under it.
Yeah,
we just got absolutely soaked to try to recover a bit. And wandered down into Zarautz, got into the albergue, no problem, and then we went for what we thought at the time were cold showers, because they were cold.
The best shower.
But anyway, they were superb, but more about why they weren't cold later. So then we wandered around Zarautz for a bit.
Yeah, we went and got some pinchos.
Small little sandwiches for dinner. Went for a swim in the ocean.
Yeah. We sat down after the ocean, and we kind of sat down there, and there was this band playing with these huge kind of tuba things. It was kind of a student band, so that was nice.
On the promenade, they were trying to earn some money. And then we went back to the albergue, and I went for another shower because I haven't been swimming in the ocean, in the sea even. And I turned on because when we went for the first shower, we just turned on the blue handled tap, which is on the left. So blue,
cold
left,
shower.
Cold. And the water was cold, so we thought that was the cold shower. So when I got in this time, I wanted something a little bit warmer, so I turned on the other tap, and the water came out so cold, I don't know how it wasn't solid. I mean, it had to be less than 0 degrees, but anyway, it was absolutely freezing, so kind of made me think that we didn't have as cold a shower as we could have had, but I still, even though we were so hot after the day, I don't think we would have managed it.
I was about to say, I think we were so hot that we probably needed the warm shower.
Yeah, so
anyway, that was day 2, and we rested no problem.
Settled down after an early night, so I'll see you guys again soon. Buen Camino. God bless.